Picture this. Your paycheck stays the same every month, but everything around you keeps getting more expensive. Groceries, rent, fuel all rising fast. Meanwhile, layoffs are rising, unemployment is climbing, and the economy isn't moving forward. You're paying more, earning the same, and watching job security fade. That's stagflation. It's one of the most dangerous economic situations a country can fall into. So, what exactly is stagflation? It's when an economy faces three challenges at once: high inflation, high unemployment, and stagnant growth. In simple terms, prices go up, jobs go down, and growth slows altogether. Normally, inflation and unemployment don't rise together. When prices rise, it's often because people are spending more, businesses are booming, and jobs are plenty. But stagflation breaks that rule, and that's what makes it such a tough problem. But why stagflation is so difficult to handle? Because the usual policy tools contradict each other. Central banks typically raise interest rates to bring inflation down. But doing that also slows down the economy further, worsening unemployment. If they lower rates to boost jobs and growth, they risk letting inflation run hotter. It's a no-win situation where any decision comes with a trade-off. But what causes stagflation in the first place, though? It often starts with a supply shock, like a sudden spike in oil prices or disruption in key resources. When production costs surge, companies raise prices. If this happens while monetary policy is still loose, with interest rates too low and too much money circulating, inflation accelerates. And if productivity doesn't keep up, economic growth slows while the cost of living rises. That's when you get stuck with high inflation, weak growth, and rising unemployment all at once. And that's exactly what the United States experienced in the 1970s. The decade opened with a perfect storm. Interest rates had been kept low throughout the 1960s to fund large-scale government spending, including the Vietnam War and social programs. Then came the collapse of the Bretton Woods system in 1971, which unpegged the dollar from gold and introduced more monetary instability. In 1973, the OPEC oil embargo hit, quadrupling oil prices almost overnight and delivering a massive supply shock to the global economy. Inflation surged past 13%, eating away at the value of every dollar. Unemployment soared above 9%, with layoffs spreading across industries, factories shutting down, businesses cutting costs, and workers left with no safety net. The economy stood still. Growth had stalled, demand collapsed, and real incomes took a hit. For policymakers, it was a crisis with no clear playbook. To take back control, the Federal Reserve, under Chairman Paul Volcker, made a move that jolted the entire economy. Interest rates were hiked aggressively, reaching almost 19%. The message was clear. They were determined to break the back of inflation, no matter the cost. It was a bold stand, but it came with pain. The U.S. economy fell into a deep recession. Businesses struggled, borrowing collapsed, and unemployment shot up. But slowly, inflation lost its grip. Confidence returned, markets stabilized, and the Fed's tough stance re-anchored expectations. It wasn't just a recovery, it was a reset, earned through sacrifice. So how can stagflation be prevented or managed? For governments and central banks, the key is balance. Avoid overstimulating the economy for too long. Keep an eye on global supply vulnerabilities like energy and mineral dependency, and stay ahead of inflation expectations with timely, well-communicated policy moves. Coordinated fiscal and monetary policies, rather than isolated decisions, are more effective. Policymakers also need to be cautious about supply-side shocks. Investing in domestic production, alternative energy sources, supply chain resilience, and tight control on fiscal deficit can go a long way in cushioning these disruptions. Stagflation isn't just a page from the history books, it's a warning. It challenges traditional economics, forces hard policy decisions, and hits everyday people the hardest. As we step into a world filled with geopolitical shocks, supply chain risks, and aggressive monetary cycles, the threat of stagflation isn't as distant as it seems. And if history taught us one thing, it's that ignoring the signs comes at a heavy cost. So the next time you hear about rising prices or sluggish growth, ask yourself, are we headed there again?